One man's journey to understand everything there is to know about sports has led to many losses. Horrible gaming, mediocre questions, but the guests are cool. And videos where gaming and podcasts combine to show sports, mainly Quidditch and football, from a variety of different angles. Welcome to Gameside Chat.
Hello world and welcome to a brand new episode of Gameside Chat, and this episode is a very special episode because I've moved houses. So over the weekend I've moved houses, and that's why, in preparation for that, I missed last Thursday. Therefore, I'm trying to catch up today, and hopefully you will be listening to this on the 17th, or this will be out on the 17th. I don't actually mind when you watch it, because that's the nature of podcasts, watch it whenever you want. Like always, you can watch it on YouTube as we play the games, or you could, check it on Spotify, iTunes, iPlayer, whatever. So, this episode, we focus on a nice conversation with Declan Ramsay, who is a technical officer for QUK. He's done some wonderful stuff for the website. So Google QUK or Quidditch UK, and you will find the new updated website, which was live, I think, on the 7th of August. So if you missed it, go check it out. So, since we haven't done a golf game in a while, we decided to play a new golf game, and it's called Golf with Your Friends. I hope you enjoy, and hopefully I win for a change. All right, let's get into it. Man, this is going to be like the best audio experience ever, because I bought a new mic as well, so that's going to be an episode with a new mic.
Tasty.
Yeah. And then if you're going to do it well, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Right, so should we start playing it then?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I guess I'll
yeah,
start.
because the only options for me is back, customize, invite, and practice, so...
Alright, I'll start it. I've just chosen the first
okay. The simplest, yeah.
map. Yeah.
Okay, so use mouse wheel up to zoom in and out. Left mouse button. Okay, cool. I did not read it, so it's gonna be fun.
I think it's basically like click and drag where you want it to go. So I don't know. I've got to math this out. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go like.
Right. Wow.
That much power.
Wait, what the hell? Ooh.
Oh, yes. That is a primo spot. Wait, what? I didn't do that.
No, I hit you. I'm sorry. I always wanted to do it.
This
is the kind of game.
I see how we're playing. All right.
Man, come on. My pride's on the line. Come on. It doesn't count in the end. Nice.
I got the par. I save face.
Oh, you actually did better. Oh, God damn it. I got more points.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Right.
So golf is you want to get less points. The less points wins.
Man, it doesn't matter. I win either way, so. Right, so I guess let's start with the first question. So it's obvious going to be, how did you join, the sport, and how long have you played for?
Hole in one.
No way.
Hole in one. Oh, come on.
Same.
Okay, so it's really easy.
Yeah.
I felt really good about that for a second. All right, how did I join the sport?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a story there, which is that so I'm from New Zealand. I grew up in the I was born in the UK, but I grew up in New Zealand, and in 2012 I met Matt Bateman and Jeffer in Wellington, and Jeffer and I were actually flatmates for a time. And they moved over to the UK and they started playing Quidditch, and so they came back over in like 2016, and I just noticed like that they were looking really fit, and that they were telling us about like all these kind of like travels they were getting to go on and how much fun it was playing Quidditch, and I kind of had no like real idea of what it was going to be. I kind of thought it was people running around pretending they're Harry Potter, but I kind of kept an open mind about it. And then when I moved to the UK, and wow, you went flying.
Yeah.
when I moved to the UK in 2017, Matt showed up to my flat in London. I just moved into. He was like, "It's time. You got to come play Quidditch. Come try it out." So I went to London Unspeakables, went to a training, and it completely flattened me. I think Jack Coley, who used to play for Loughborough, also played for LQC, was there, and they were doing tackling drills. And
Right.
I'd kind of come from a rugby background, but like he tackled me, he put me on the floor, and I was just like, all right, yep, this is a real sport, and this is a lot of fun. And so that kind of got me hooked. So I played with Unspeakables for that first year. Played for the Unbreakables, their second team at the time, and actually went to World Cup in 2018 with Team New Zealand. So that was such a big change, going from like playing the Manchester Minotaurs at Dev Cup, and then like 8 weeks later going and playing Team Germany in our first game. Was quite a jump up, quite a leap, but it just really cemented even more kind of like how much I enjoyed the sport.
Yeah.
And like I could see the kind of potential of if I really worked it and took it seriously, like how far you could go, and that was really exciting for me. And yeah, so I joined. This would have been my fourth season, just starting. So 3 years, started in 2017. And since this season, I've been playing with LQC, with their B team.
Mm-hmm.
And also I played in the last QPL. I was the captain of the West Midlands Revolution.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm sure you've got some questions that you want to ask me about that.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just maybe. All right, I'm gonna go full whack. I haven't done full whack yet. I'm gonna see how this goes.
Yeah, I made a mistake with that.
Wait for it. Oh,
okay.
Okay. That went very well.
So you're quite an experienced player at this rate, aren't you? So what is that? You mentioned like what, four teams, yeah? Pretty much.
Yeah, so like not including Merc teams.
Yeah.
Unbreakables, LQC, West Mids, and Team New Zealand. So, yeah.
What did you enjoy playing the most? I think maybe in terms of like challenges, or like in terms of just fun stuff.
I mean, I've got to say my latest season with LQC was really quite enjoyable. We were so LQC started the season before, and then the Bees were a new team this season. And it was exciting as a kind of a new challenge, a new team, and we did quite well. We managed to get to EQT, and then we qualified for Division 2 EQC whenever that occurs. It's just
you're in Div
really
2
wonderful
as well.
bunch. Yeah. So
so we might play against each other, huh? Again.
Yeah. Olympians, and I think it would be, when it does happen, it's going to be a really fun tournament. The teams that are there from the UK are some of my favorite teams to play against, or even just to socially hang out with. So I think it would be a really fun tournament if and when it occurs.
Yeah. Yeah, so
right, I've been pushed right back to the start.
So I think this is hole 10, and you're already smashing me. So this is not a good look for me. Well, quite a bit, huh? But yeah, I haven't been looking at the scores. I've just been kind of hoping.
Oh
man, I've been dreading. I'm looking at it. I'm like, like we'll see how much.
No,
how much.
It was off the rim.
And this is how I get back. Let's see.
Yeah, double bogey.
Let's see. So after 10, okay.
Ooh.
So 20
but
to
it's
25.
Close. It's close. 3 points. Like
close.
If I have a bad hole, it could all go. And like this looks like the sort of hole where I'm gonna really mess it up.
I'm just gonna smash it just for fun. Oh.
That looks like it worked.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Oh
was,
yeah, you did a lot better than I did. Okay, I've got to go full tilt on that.
it was my tactical brilliance. Yeah. Oh no, now I'm gonna mess it up now.
Yeah. But like, going back to your question about teams, like
Yeah.
all the teams I've played for have been really enjoyable, and like that's why one of the reasons why I stayed in the sport and why I was first drawn to the sport. And like there's my time with Unbreakables was great. The people I got to meet there are people I'm hanging out with all the time. The West Mids, God bless them. We have a team chat. I'm sure you did with Angels, but that's still live. That's still going, and the whole thing finished over a year ago, and they're still talking and they're still chatting to each other. And I think it's a really lovely group of people.
Yeah.
We didn't get the wins that we were seeking, but the real wins were the friends we made along the way. So
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, because for us as well, like we still kind of talk. We post random things. Like sometimes we have a thing where someone just posts like, "Oh yeah, my dog's wearing the Olympian kit." I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." So like,
that's
just
really good.
just the small stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So I was gonna leave it for later, but I might as well since you brought it up again. How was the final for you, man?
I mean, so it wasn't the result I was quite going for.
Yeah.
I would say that. So I'd say that there's a special kind of like mental fortitude from the Angels to come back from 7 down, like that's special. I can't knock that to come back from that to not only draw level but then catch the snitch at the end is nothing more than phenomenal. And like people like Lewis Jones and Chloe Durkin, Sergio Belmonte, like absolute standouts for that game for me. I would say that it was a tough game. It was a tough game because we were definitely, I'd say, the villains in that game. The crowd was definitely rooting for Angels. And that's fine. There was a little bit of I think at some point that kind of crossed a little bit, and I think some people were starting to. They weren't cheering for the Angels, but they were cheering for like West Mids to lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that actually is the thing that probably bums me out the most about it, because it's not really the part of the community that like. I'm talking before about how welcoming, how accepting the community is, and like that really wasn't part of it. And you only see it. Like I saw it a little bit at World Cup when people were booing like Team USA in the final when a decision didn't go quite the way they were wanted. But like ultimately, like that doesn't change what happened in the game, and like it had no impact on the game at all. Like at the time, it actually, if anything, motivated me more to play harder. And it, a couple of days after, I shared this link with the team, and it was an interview with Jimmy Neesham, who's a cricketer in New Zealand, and it was talking about how the month before he had lost the World Cup. New Zealand had lost to England by 1 run after like a overtime super over, and it was all tied and it went down. And he was just talking about like kind of like the pain. Without the pain of loss, there's no joy in winning. And like and he was talking about it. About how it was silly for him to be upset about the sport loss, because where he got his like that quote from was about I can't remember who it was, but someone talking about losing their father. So he was like, compared to the pain of losing a cricket game, it's actually a bit silly. And then I'm applying it to another level of silliness, which is it's a Div 2 last place playoff. Although I think we could say that it was the 7th, 8th place playoff. It wasn't the last place playoff because Lil Gent
Little victories
didn't come, so they technically came last. but like you give 100%, and you just kind of you have to take what comes, and it just wasn't our day, wasn't my day.
Yeah.
And like the other thing that I kind of like take from it as well is the thing that like really impresses me is how many players who played in that game have gone on to like play at EQT.
Yeah.
I think there was 8 players from West Mids there at 2020. You know, Kyle was playing with Olympians. You got Tom White and Meredith playing for Warwick. There was a couple Mammoth players, a couple Megs players. You know, there's Claude from Angels was there playing for Liverpool. So was Kieran Purvis from our side was also playing for Liverpool. And like that just shows like, yes, both of us were not the strongest teams in our divisions, or indeed in the whole league. But there's like players have kind of grown from that and taken the lessons of that. And that kind of makes me feel a bit more positive about it.
Yeah. Well, for us, like because of the how little pressure we had, I feel like it gave a lot of people the chance to actually, perform. Because a lot of the times, most of the players I got, they weren't the leading players on their teams, and then when after that they realized, you know what? No, I have the skills. So it's just a little confidence boost. Even if we were losing games, it's just a little thing that, oh, you know what? I can actually drive. I don't need to pass it, to whoever our star player is. Because I remember,
sorry.
Because I remember when
players like Chloe Durkin, who has gone on to captain Banger and was like easily my player of the tournament at Dev Cup this year. It was a lot of player of the tournament, and she's just absolutely bossing it. And it'd be really once the season resumes, I can't wait to see who she she's graduating now, so who she's going to be playing for. Yep. Oh, that was really bad for me. This might be. Oh no.
It's by a lot. So you have to do 12 more than me for me to even have a chance. So that's gonna be fun.
All right, I'm just gonna go full pelt then.
Yeah, same.
Got nothing to lose. Let's go.
What?
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe not full pelt. Need to get on the conveyor belt.
Wait, but where's the conveyor? Yeah, but that's what I think. Because I think for me, okay, fair enough. Because for me, like during the last game, I really appreciated the support. But then you're right. At some point, it started being like, lol, let's troll, West Mids, and I'm like, but that's a completely different thing, and that's not,
Yeah. Well,
that's
like
not what we're trying to go for here.
A lot of Angels players came up to me afterwards, and they were like, that wasn't, the ethos of what we were trying to do, and and like it wasn't. I never assumed any sort of like malice from the team, and that's why I don't really want to talk about it that much, because it's taking up space about talking about how incredible the Angels were, because they were ultimately to come back from that kind of deficit, and at 35 minutes when everyone's dying in this like intense heat, and come back and start doing run after run. Like I'm just like, I was just super impressed. I can't be mad about that.
Yeah. No, to be fair, it was definitely enjoyable. Yeah. Well, I guess. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Anyways. I do notice it's a bit of a sour.
It was a phenomenal game, and it was the sort of game that like everyone talked about it afterwards as being like the game of the tournament, and and it was a great game. You've got these players who are going on from it better, and that's ultimately the that's the thing you want.
Yeah. Right, so that's a good thing. Right, so I'm gonna ask you. So you mentioned that you do some, some stuff for QEK decoding. So what is actually your role in QEK?
So I have my official role with QEK, which is that I am the technology officer. It is I'm sorry. Just before I start this, I'm going to change. Should we do another course? Let's do.
Yeah. By the way, for anyone that's listening. For anyone that's listening, he completely smashed me, so not surprised there, huh?
Game one, I think I got a couple lucky like hole ones. So let's see what happens in Pirate Cove. But yeah, sorry. My role at QUK, so I'm technology officer. I am not a volunteer. As far as I'm actually I'm a contractor. I get paid an amount, and as far as I'm aware, I'm the only person that gets paid at QUK currently.
Oh wow. Are you gonna tell us how much you get paid? Huh? You know, exclusive.
It is in the financial disclosures. It wasn't. It was a paid role before I took it, and it's a small cohort. It's like £150 a month. Like it's not a salary. I'm not buying yachts on it. It's a.
I mean,
I couldn't tell you why that role's paid for and like another one isn't. It's just it was paid.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
You just hacked it, didn't you?
I just hacked the accounts, and now all the money's is with me.
And with each year the zeros are growing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting a lot of music in my ears.
Ooh.
This is very exciting. Ooh, we got a Kraken.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, the role opened up. I think it was in November 2019. Luke Stevens was stepping down, and so I actually flat with Matt. I'm just gonna make a change to my sound settings for a second because this is
all right. No worries.
Really loud in my ears. I can't hear myself think. Right.
This actually makes me worried because I can't hear the sounds because I'm talking to you through the phone as opposed to through the computer. So I'm gonna lower it just in case as well, just a smidge. So yeah,
it was fine before. It was this level looks like it's a bit louder.
Exciting pirating music, huh?
Yeah, but the role opened up. I was complaining quite a bit to Matt Bateman. He's my flatmate. About things I'd like to change about the website, and so he was like, just apply for this role, so you can stop complaining to me about it. And what has happened is that now I just complain about. Now it's like I even talk to him even more about things all the time. So it's completely had the opposite effect. It's just now I can make the changes that I want to. So that's my official role. Is I'm technology officer. One of the big projects obviously was the website rebuild, but it's also encompassing generally all matters technology. That's from onboarding people with like emails and accounts and all sorts of that to things like events. Data management, which is some of the stuff we'll be building and working towards. And then kind of like my non-permanent role is that I do a lot of tournament volunteering. So I was the tournament director at Dev Cup this year, and I was also an assistant tournament director at Northern in 2019. And those were really great fun. Dev Cup had been like one of my first tournaments. I'd gone to a Southern, and then I went to Dev Cup with Unbreakables, and like I really love the ethos of the tournament. I really love the fact we have guest coaches and there's all the drills, and it's I think it's one of the better tournaments that we have.
Definitely.
And like I've got personally a lot out of it. Oh no, I'm in the drink. And I also know, like, having gone to it a few times, seeing players absolutely, players and teams completely transformed, in part from the stuff that they learned at Dev Cup. There's great examples of teams like Glasgow and Liverpool, both playing at Dev Cups, and they've gone on to. Glasgow went from winning Dev Cup in 2018 to being a Division 1 EQC team the following year. And Liverpool qualified for Div 2 last year. It didn't qualify this year, but we're still at EQT. And then players like Doug Bryant, his first tournament was with Unbreakables at Dev Cup, and now he's on training squad with Team UK.
Yeah.
So I was
Well,
as
the
soon
Dev
as I
Cup is
saw that
definitely one of the
opportunity
good
to,
ones.
and so I saw the opportunity to help out, and I was like, like this is a tournament I really love.
Yeah, it's
I'd
definitely
love
a
to
very
help.
useful one. That's the thing. Like I like the, especially after doing stuff with the Angels. Like it gave me a big appreciation of like, just the. It's not even the coaching as much that helps. It's just the opportunity to shine. So yeah, obviously there's certain things where like more experienced players can be like, oh, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. But it's just, the game time is what you need. And I think
I mentioned Chloe before, but
Yeah.
also like Sergio playing for Manchester at Dev Cup, switching to beating and just absolutely bossing it.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
they got it's my fault for hesitating. I see that this game's gonna be a bit rougher, I think.
Yeah.
No more Mr. Nice team up. Oh no! Oh, it's all going wrong. I'm not doing well at all at this one. I think I'm gonna have to go back to Forest.
No. Oh, I fell. Damn it. But yeah. Okay, so you do quite a lot of stuff for I guess for QUK. So do you enjoy more the what the hell? That was a good shot. So do you enjoy more the
that was jammy.
Yeah, do you enjoy more the what's it called, the technical side, as in the computer stuff, or do you enjoy more the organization stuff?
I think it's probably the technical. I enjoy doing the event stuff, but I also like that I'm doing it for a period of time, and then I don't have to do it, and then I do a tournament, and then I don't have to think about it anymore. So I like it for different things, but like. It's like after Dev Cup, I'm like, all right, I'm not doing BQC, I'm not doing another tournament. I'm certainly not going to be the events director if Fran was to step down. That's just not my jam. It's just something that I've had experience being an event organizer before, so
Okay.
It's kind of like using those old skills.
I mean, you might as well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what other? Oh no! Don't fall off. I hate this game.
I
Right, should we
saw
quit?
that. That was like I was like, oh no, that looks really good. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, should we quit?
Oh, you can see my goose.
Yeah.
There's my goose.
That's the beautiful thing.
Hong
Are you
Kong.
doing that on purpose to show off your goose? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what was actually added to the new site? Like, what did you propose? And I guess because you said you got annoyed at a lot of the stuff. So what exactly were you annoyed at?
So like, if you saw the old site, it was very text heavy. It wasn't very good on mobile, which is a lot of our traffic comes from mobile. It's people coming from Facebook. They see an article and they read it, and it wasn't great on mobile. It was a site that, like, at the time when it was built in 2017, was like an absolute step up from what we had before. And it made the sport look very professional, and it made the sport look it made QUK look very authoritative. But kind of like the trade-off of that was that it wasn't super engaging for people who weren't in the sport. It was very heavy on like text and explaining, complex policy or rules. And it wasn't about bringing new people into the sport. It was very much aimed at people who already played, who already knew everything that they needed to know. They were already in the UK Quidditch groups on Facebook. They were already in the community. It was more just a place for them to get that sort of information.
So it was just more like a service for us.
Yeah. So my initial proposal. So QUK before I turned up, were already saying we need to build a new site. So I didn't propose that we build a new site, but I advocated for, rather than trying to improve the existing one or use the same technology, that we just kind of start from the ground up, and that means all of our technology choices, but also like what are we trying to achieve with this site, and have a clear strategy for what we want to achieve with it. And like the overwhelming kind of response was that we wanted it to be a site where new people, people who had never experienced the sport, could find out information and could find out where Quidditch was, how it's played, and like how to get involved. Like the old site, you know, I won't pick on it too much, but like the old site didn't say the word Quidditch on it.
All right.
It like there's literally was not the word Quidditch on the homepage. And so like we started with the very first thing I built was the homepage, that top video, and it was literally at the time just I just grabbed the BQC highlights, and that's like we you know, people edited it and made it much tighter, but that was like always the gist. It's like the way people find out about the sport is by seeing it and seeing how it's played.
Yeah.
So that's like put that first and foremost, and then adding the call to action, find Quidditch, and put in your postcode so that you can find where it's happening locally.
All right, so you can actually. All right.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out the website, I strongly recommend you do. It's at quidditchuk.org.
No, it's a good plugin.
That's just my little, like, I feel like I had to do that little plug.
Yeah. How much do I get paid for sponsoring the website? If you're $150 a month.
How about I'll sponsor you in points in this game? How about that?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So I'll give you a 2-stroke advantage.
Nice.
But like we started from the ground up, and we were like, how do we get people engaged in the sport? What are the things that people who have never experienced the sport, what do they care about? And it turns out what they care about is where it is, how it's played, who's, what kind of teams we have. They're not super interested in what our documents and policies are, or who's on the exec. Like I have a lot of love for the exec, but that's not what people new to the sport care about. It's what the community cares about. It's what people and like we still, it's not that we're not doing that news anymore, but we're trying to make it less of a priority, and focus more on what's going to bring people in and how do we grow. So back to your kind of, like, I know I've waffled a lot, but
no.
So kind of like what's been added. It's been a complete rebuild. Everything's changed from like the language we wrote it in to the back end systems. It's all new, all custom. To where we host it is new. We're using industry standard sort of tech, and I think the big kind of headlines of what's new is the Find Quidditch, which tells you where your nearest club or your nearest event is. The club pages themselves, which have completely been overhauled, and making sure that we've got loads of photos of people playing and showing the sport off in its best light.
So people don't just think it's like a niche Harry Potter thing.
Yeah, we want to definitely emphasize that this is a sport, not a LARPing group. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't even know if I'm going the right way.
Yeah, you just shot the completely wrong way. It's actually
am I going the wrong way?
You're going back up.
Start.
You're going back up.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah.
So down. What?
It's basically the other way of where you were putting. You're just going back to the front now.
I'm so confused. This is the
Yeah, you see the flag. Look behind you.
I can see it. Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I completely overshot that and missed that and just kept going.
So I was wondering, with the website, would we have any ideas on if the traffic increased, or if the traffic is from outside the community?
Oh no, I ran out of shots. Well, that was what I was going to get onto, which is that we added a full-blown kind of like analytics suite on there with Google Analytics. So nothing GDPR, but just we're able to track where people are and like what browser they're using, that sort of like publicly available data. So we added that. We added some trackers for when people sign up to an account, and so that we can get a clear idea of like how many people are engaging with the site in that sense, or paying for their membership. And yeah, that was the other thing that I was going to say that was really new, that didn't exist before, which is this full kind of like management a user account state, which didn't really exist before. Beforehand, it was you buy your membership online, and then you'd get an email saying it's paid for, and that was it. You've got no way of like managing, seeing, coming back to the QK website and seeing what you paid and when. And there were some quite famous cases of players who thought they had signed up for membership, but they had signed up for the previous year and like ended up missing tournaments because they hadn't got membership. So there's a whole new membership flow, so you can sign in and manage your affairs, and that's the one, that's the part of the site that is going to probably grow the most in the next kind of section of development.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So do you reckon, do you guys have any more initiatives that you're planning to put out? Obviously, since we're almost out of lockdown, but we might go back to it.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering if you had like more stuff you want to add to this. Oh no!
Oh, that's rude. That's really rude.
That was a complete accident. I'm sorry.
That was just to go back. Actually, I realized I didn't answer your initial question, which was like about like like analytics and what we were doing to track that sort of stuff. And there's one thing that like we are starting to do is like using data of where people are and cross-referencing it with club information, so that we can find where people are interested in the sport but they don't have a local club. Because that's obviously a super interesting bit of data to have. If we know empirically that there's a load of interest in, like, anecdotally, people have always found like Birmingham to be very odd that it doesn't have any Quidditch. It's the second biggest city in the UK. It's got a huge student population. There's no Quidditch there. So because we've got these analytics set up, we've got the data set up correctly, we can start to cross-reference those two bits of information and be like, hang on, there is a huge amount of interest in this area. This is where we should start investing, time and resources into, trying to set up a team.
All right.
So it's I think like Adam kind of touched on this when he was on your podcast. Obviously about I had to get one back, man. I had to get one back.
Yeah.
But like he was obviously talking about it as a from player stats and player data, but it's becoming more data literate and using that to help drive good decisions about our tech and about what we're how we grow the sport.
Okay, so do you know if that's gonna be coming around soon, or
in terms of like my role as technology officer is I set it up, I collect the data, but then it's ultimately up to the exec and like the team's director and his whole team, Kevin, to then use that information and decide whether or not that's where they're going to invest their time, because we've also got to make sure that we don't forget the existing teams and make sure that they're getting the full growth isn't just setting up new areas, it's making sure that existing teams continue to exist or even better grow.
Especially with COVID situation right now, like it's gonna be kind of hard for a lot of teams. We're
definitely hoping that some of the changes we're making will help improve. It may not help, it may not help them long term, be a bigger team, but it will hopefully mean that because people can find where their local team is, they are more likely to show up to, kind of anecdotally, I've seen already people turning up to trainings and saying, I saw this on the website, it said this was my local team, so I'm going to come play for you. And that's definitely a hope for some of the struggling teams, that this site could definitely help them with that.
Yeah.
And then using
unlucky.
I'm not doing well in this one. I think this is going to be you're going to get your win.
Is that the sponsored aspect of it? So that's how you pay me back. Fair.
And something that's also kind of like a really big reason why we need like a site, and like a lot of NGBs make do with just a Facebook. Or, you know, I think Quidditch Ireland, for example, is a Facebook page. Is that like we're definitely finding that if you're not in the sport, if you're new, it can be quite insular. You might not be able to find. If you don't know that you need to join Quidditch UK and UK Quidditch, you know, the group and the page, you might miss out on information. And then there's also like not a huge serious threat, but if Facebook or J.K. Rowling was, you know, said like we're pulling the copyright card, you can't use this anymore, we're going to pull your pages, it would mean that we'd be very kind of like marooned very quickly if we didn't have a site where people could get this sort of information. And also like more and more people are like also being more skeptical of things like Facebook as well.
Because I was gonna say, like, we have a few people in our club that are, you know, getting off Facebook, and their only point of contact is, you know, if someone messages them. But you can just imagine, like, if the club's communicating quite often, you have to make sure that someone, you know, actually messages you, or if they don't forget, because you might miss a training, or you might miss a tactic session. So I think that's why
our sport is very, very, and it's not just QUK, it's our sport in general is very dependent on Facebook. And all sorts of moves away from being dependent on that is a good idea in my book.
Well, it's like just open more pages, because I feel like for us, like especially I'm gonna take Olympians as a example here, because for us we have don't fall, okay, don't fall, okay, nice. Sorry, that wasn't part of what Olympians do. Olympians, we started a page right now because we also realized that a lot of the times, you know, Facebook is, you know, not the best source for people finding you, and also we are trying to get more active with Instagram. You know, I think we're trying to do something with Twitter. So like the more pages you got, you know, but it's obviously a limitation of the manpower you have. But like, I do notice that a lot of the times we do miss a target audience. We could have had a bigger one if we just had, like, you know, 3 pages or something, or 4 pages open. How many do you guys have? Do you know? Are you just responsible for the QUK page, or? Hello? I think he disconnected. Let's try again. Are you alright?
Yeah, I just completely lost you. You just completely dropped out. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Because the question I asked is, are you just responsible for the QUK page, or do you, you know, help, I guess, organize, you know, some more online presence?
So I don't look after the Facebook page or anything like that. That's all handled by media. So my focus is purely on the website and our online systems, if that makes sense. So something I mentioned that like we're gonna start working on, indeed we're already having conversations, is like the next stage of this kind of like management state is to allow people to manage their events on the website. So you know, manage your sign up for the event that you're playing. You know, right now that's all on Google, set up expertly by Alix, who's our scheduling coordinator. but it's not a great system long term.
For the future. Yeah.
For the future, and I don't know what, I'm so stuck. Oh no!
Isn't it? Oh man.
No! I have to either go really fast, in which case I bounce off, and I'm gonna max out on strokes. This hole has been lost to me.
Oh no.
But yeah, to bring signing up for an event saying that I'm gonna play at Dev Cup or I'm gonna play at BQC through the platform is gonna be like the next big build that we're gonna do, and longer term, things like integration with like IQA referee things, so you can be like,
what
on the system that you're an assistant ref, and we could see a day when how many times have you been in a field somewhere trying to get a Google spreadsheet to load to find out if you're playing or if you're reffing the next slot? Like, that's not sustainable long term. Alex does an incredible job managing those sheets, but they're ultimately at the kind of like mercy of Google if they change their API or if they change anything about how that's built. Like, a whole bunch of very sensitive forms will suddenly break. So we want to avoid that before that becomes a problem.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, right now you have a little... Ooh, what the hell? You have a little time to, finalize these things, because with COVID, like, we don't have much in terms of Quidditch going on there. Yeah. Yeah,
so like that obviously makes things like event management is still a priority, but it's like maybe a little less. It's a little lower on the totem pole than right now than maybe something like club management, where like allowing clubs to edit their profiles or to see who's signed up on the site. Might be a better use of our time.
Yeah. So what's your next big project for the QK? Do you have one?
Yeah, so I would say the next big project, the next big build is going to be that whole event registration flow, because there is a lot of moving pieces. There's if you signed up for a tournament, you'll know that there's several forms you have to fill out, and like, how do we do that in a way that is both productive for us and not too painful for the user, while also like respecting things like GDPR requirements. And like, there's only the reason why you have to fill out those forms all the time is because there's some data that it's sensitive. We're not allowed to store it past what we need it for, which is why you have to fill out like the same bits of information every time
over and over again.
So like, how we build that, and how do we build that in a way that is like really manageable for like whoever's the event organizer. That's going to be a really big challenge, but that's a very kind of like also very internal project. I'm trying to think of like, what's the next big external one that like a lot of people will see. It might be a bit more around the user experience. Things like that referee integration that I kind of mentioned. That's a complete pipe dream at the moment, but we'll see where things shake out.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the big question is, obviously with the COVID situation. So, what is QK trying to do to make sure clubs don't die from this? Do you guys have? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's
yeah.
That's a big question.
No, I know it's not like, guys, you have to do everything. Like, it's always just I'm just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I can only talk to my experience, which my role, which is technology, and like there's other things that are going on at the executive level that I'm not privy to, and they'll definitely be working on it. I think in the kind of like technology and online space, what I could say is not maybe from the QUK perspective, but just from the community perspective in general, is the thing that's really going to help, make sure the sport doesn't die is like all the stuff that people have been doing in the last couple of months to keep people engaged, like things like the Olympian, puzzle tournament, to the Chester, challenges over the summer. Unspeakables posting their footage of their team league and doing a fantasy. That's the stuff that's like, in the last couple of months, this while we've been in lockdown and dealing with COVID, like those pages have been super active and people are really engaged with like kind of like how do we keep people interested in the sport. And it's really going to come down to, can we continue this kind of energy and effort when the sport resumes? Because I think it's fair to say like there was certainly a level of like, I don't know, cynicism when it came to it. People were saying that like the sport had peaked and that that it's declining, and I don't think that, or at least I'm more optimistic than I was about that, especially with the way that people have been working to grow their not just the sport but their teams.
Well, I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I did start this. I mean, YouTube and podcasting.
Yeah, this is a fantastic example of the exact sort of thing that people have been trying and people have been working on. That that will just this whole course. I'm sorry, but this whole course has just been it's been not for me.
It's cursed. It's horrible. It's just literally, if you're lucky to be in a position, you can do alright, but if you're not, then you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, because I did notice I was very complacent, like, especially before talking to Bateman, I was like, QUK is the devil, they don't do anything, they just sit in their ass, they say they're important, they don't do anything. But like, the more you talk to like you, I talk to Fran, I talk to Bateman, you realize like there's actually a lot of things behind the scenes that people just don't appreciate.
I think people don't realize how big QUK is. Like they see they see really visible people like the exec, but like if you go on the website, like we've got a meet the team page, and it's got everyone who does not just the exec, but like everyone who's all the assistants, and there's like 50. QUK is 50 people.
Wait, really?
Like
what?
There's like media as a department itself has like 10 people. Events has like 5 or 6. You've got all the Team UK. Everyone knows Jay, but like he's got a team of like 4 people who are also like, a team manager in Bex Low, and like there's a lot of people actually behind it. And it's not just it's not just Matt or Jay or Fran or James Nichols, new team director, or they've all got huge number of people behind them.
Well, it's just because I think the problem is in this case is that like it's because we know you guys, so for us it's like, well, they're no different to us, so why are they like in charge, sort of thing. But I do really appreciate how much work you guys put in, like especially like after a few interviews like this, just talking to people, you realize, oh, okay, wow, that's a lot of work that sometimes just doesn't go, the credit's not there. And that's the thing, like how do you, like, because I wouldn't be able to do it for so long. I'd be like, well, no one gives a shit, but you guys keep it up, so thank you, I guess.
Well, I mean, like I get paid, so I you don't need to pay me. I'm not a volunteer. but like on that, like it kind of amazes me that like we kind of joke about it, and I think that like maybe when you interviewed Matt, you talked about it. It's like he talks about the yacht, and like what what would this sport look like if we had a full-time president, if someone could do this full-time, because I think they do an outstanding job, and I think it's incredible the work they all do, but what kind of we're talking about growing the sport, and how do we make sure clubs don't collapse? How do we make sure the sport doesn't just try and maintain where it's at, but also like actually get wider. Like, what would the sport look like if we actually were able to put the money up for maybe a full-time president and maybe a couple of part-time roles? Like, I think that's ultimately what's going to make the difference. And also you got to remember as well that like when a role is voluntary, there's a level of privilege that comes with that as well. You need to be able to, you know, work for free, and that's not always available to people, especially if they're from a minority or if they are from a privileged, not a privileged background, or they, you know, they're a student and they just don't have the time. We've got a lot of talent that we're probably missing out on by not paying for some of these roles.
I can imagine. Well, it's like for me, like sometimes I try to do things for the Instagram page, and even I forget, and I'm just like, I'm not super busy, but I just don't do it. So I can't imagine if you're, you know, if you're working and then you're doing something else and then you have to do this on top. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So
like I'm very fortunate that I am in a position that of privilege that I can work and do stuff for QUK, and it's fine. And I've also got that additional privilege that I'm being paid to do it. But I couldn't do it as a full-time job. I couldn't as on what QUK pays. So you know, who are we missing out on?
That's true. Right, should we do a tiebreaker? Can we do like an 8-hole course?
I don't know if we can do an 8-hole course, but
or just do 9. Wow.
I'll yeah.
Can you tell I've got an engineering background that I can't divide 18 by 2?
Let's go to worms. Let's see if I can change the number of holes. No.
That is strange.
No, it doesn't look like I can change the number, like make it a half.
That's fine. It doesn't take too long. Right, let's do the last one. And meanwhile, we just chat. And if it gets too boring, you know, we cut it out. We cut out all the bad shots I do. Ooh.
I've gone for worms because I know that you played Bateman at worms.
And I lost,
So that I'm hoping it will give me some good vibes. Man.
Tactical. Very, very tactical. Right, man. So I guess like how long do you reckon you'll stay in the sport? As in like active playing? Do you reckon you got a time limit on that, or?
I mean, I don't have one really in mind at the moment. I'm also a lot older than most people, so I joined the sport when I was 27. I'm 30 now.
All right.
So that already, you know, factors in the calculations. You know, I've got to save a little bit of like hip and knees for like the rest of my life. But
what do you mean?
Honestly,
Quidditch is not your life?
In many ways, it is, and I'm kind of the sort of person that when I do like when I get interested in something, it becomes my sole focus, and I do it very intensely. So before Quidditch, I was a musician. I was playing live shows. I was doing tours, and I did that for about a decade. And so Quidditch has very much become that for me. Is that this is the thing that I am spending all my free time doing, and in a healthy way. I certainly hope.
Whoa, there's got jetpacks in it. Damn. Oh no! Well, that was completely misjudged.
Yeah. Yeah, Worms is in my favor at the moment. Looks like it. Oh no, I did it way too weak. Probably just gave you back that stroke.
What do you mean run out of time? What?
Oh, I must have. Oh, you're. Yeah, I must have kept the time limit on it so that we can. So it makes it nice and snappy.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
That's called cheating, mate.
It's just putting a little bit of pressure on.
No. Yeah.
But like in terms of how long I'll stay in the sport, I could easily see myself still playing in 2 years' time. I could still see myself quite involved in it unless something really awful happens.
Yeah.
Further than that, and that might not be playing, but like I think that's another thing that we need to kind of work on as a sport is like how do we measure engagement and like not necessarily you don't have to be a player to be involved in a sport. Like that's not true of like I don't play football, but I do fantasy football, and I'll do a kickabout, and that's still being involved in the sport. And refereeing is being part of the sport, and spectating is being part of the sport. Oh gosh, yeah, that time limit is actually really harsh.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh.
So
it's
okay,
nice
so we
and
actually
close
got a
again.
chance. All right, that's fine. That's fair enough then. Yeah, because I was gonna say like, imagine in the future, man, we can have like a fantasy team. So it's like, how did you do today? It's like, Timur scored this many goals. He got this many points.
Well, that's what
kinda cool.
what I was kind of getting with like how what the sport would look like if like the EMT was paid, and like that's not going to come from players. That's going to come from like spectators paying for tickets and things like that.
Yeah.
Like. Oh,
That'd be-
gosh, this,
Yeah, this is impossible.
and like that's how there might be a time where I'm not playing the sport anymore, I'm not refereeing, but I'll still be spectating, and like that's the kind of mindset we need to go with in the future, I think.
Yeah, because
This
like
course is
the
insane. I have no idea where I'm going.
yeah,
I'm just kind of like
I do believe you
terrified of-
picked same. I do believe you picked like the wrong course for like a time. I have no idea where we're going.
Yeah.
Oh no, I see it. Yeah, but because I was talking to who was I talking to already? Oh yeah, I was talking to Ben, and I was making a joke about how like imagine in like 5-10 years we have academies. You have like the Olympians under 21s, like
Yeah.
Raptors under 19 sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll have academies, but I think that one thing that definitely can happen like right now, or at least in the more immediate future, is like making the ties between teams a lot clearer. So like the fact that Olympians help out with like Manchester and things like that, but making that a really clear and like almost kind of like kind of making that like an official path. Is that like you play for Manchester, and then when you graduate you go and play for Olympians, and like you can obviously go and play for whoever you want, but like from my kind of rugby days is that like you played for your high school team, and then you go and play for the old boys afterwards. And play for the old boys team, and that was how you stayed in the sport.
Sorry, I'm just.
I think. Yeah, you're being like Indiana Jones down the hill, which is just fantastic.
This is
to
so.
watch.
Oh no. I'm not doing anything. That's the problem. Oh man. I think you won this one. No, off the map. But yeah, with the community and uni split, it's actually a cool idea. Especially if we're not gonna play in the same ones, you can have like, more like a feeder club sort of system.
Yeah. I think that's like more achievable, at least in the short term, because we've already got that. It's taking things like Olympians and their connections to Manchester. It's Oxford and their ties to Mammoths. It's all the things that people are already doing and doing fantastic work. It's just we could start formalizing that a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh god, can we even get out of this?
I like how
meant to get out of this.
Oh,
We're not meant to get out of it. Oh, this is gonna be thrilling. This is gonna be thrilling for your
Oh yeah, it's a great finish.
for your viewers of just us getting tens every single hole.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What is this? How are you meant to play this? I don't understand.
No, I don't think this is like meant to be it. I think this is actually we chose the right hole for like this final one because it's just ridiculous. It's so silly.
To watch.
Yeah.
No, don't blow up. Don't blow up.
Come on. Let's go.
Do you have any? So you said you're from. Are you from New Zealand or you were raised in New Zealand, right?
I was raised in New Zealand, so I was born in the UK, but my dad's a New Zealander, so I grew up in New Zealand. I spent 20 years there, and then I moved back here. So I'm not an immigrant, but also I
kinda.
You know, like I know I'm kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. No, I was gonna say, like, do you do much work with the New Zealand team, or like the New Zealand version of QK? What's it called?
It's called Quans. And not right now. I don't do a huge amount with them. They're obviously a much smaller NGB. We don't have any local teams. We don't have a local league. So there's not really like a need for a technology officer. They're not at the stage yet where they need that. So I'm not needed for Quans. But obviously I play for Team New Zealand. That was the team I was going to play for at World Cup. If and when that ever occurs. Yeah.
So do you reckon that's just like, so basically the future of New Zealand is hoping that some of you guys come back and, you know, start clubs, start, you know,
yeah, I mean there's players in New Zealand who are playing for Team New Zealand, but there's just not enough of them in the right places. New Zealand is, you know, it's a very small country population wise. Our capital city, Wellington, only has 300,000 people, and there's only 8 unis total.
Okay, wow.
So it's not. I think like probably the thing that will happen when we grow will be so in the football, we have football and NRL, we have the same problem, which is that there's just not there's one local team. So what they do is they compete in Australia. So our football team's the Wellington Phoenix, and they play in the Australian League and the A League, and the Warriors in the NRL play obviously all the Australian teams. So that's probably more likely. But also I'm not part of that NGB, so I don't want to speak as to like what they might be planning, because I have no idea.
All right, yeah, because you just gave me an idea for my next Full Manager save, by the way.
Oh,
because I remember, because I remember I tried to manage in New Zealand, I think, and I was really shocked that every single team is semi-professional, like in the New Zealand leagues. So that could be something, you know, build it up. Yeah. So do you guys do much work with other countries, I guess?
In QUK? Or like I'm kind of like in contact with things like the IQA and their tech team, but like not directly right now am I working with any NGB. One of the things that actually one of the things we did with the website is that we open sourced the code base, so that, you know, theoretically a team could completely like an NGB could copy our website as it is, change the logo, and call it a day and hook it up to their own news system, and it would be you know, it would be a brand new, you know, they'd have to set up a few things to get the domain name, but they could use that, and that's like, you know, I don't know if that will ever be taken up, but like the offer's there, and we're certainly keen, well, at least I'm certainly keen to work directly with anyone who's interested in technology and improving it in Quidditch.
Nice. So just like do some workshops.
Well, it's just like there's a load of people doing interesting stuff in the space. People like Lucas, who built the Timekeeper app. He's just doing that in his own time, as a hobby, and that's a fantastic, you know, project that is getting used across Europe. and like would be fantastic to have projects like that. I know that Eamon, gameplay director for QUK, is working on like a scheduler, and like there's a lot of resources there, and we're always keen to share that, and do what we can to help, especially small NGBs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice, man.
Can I get to the hole? Come on.
Oh,
No
way. Oh, just in time. Like what, 7 in a row we did nothing on?
No. Yeah, I don't feel like we were the masters of
What?
our own. I don't feel like we were the masters of our own destiny there. But I'm still gonna take the win.
You're still gonna take the win, and you're gonna continue the tradition.
I'm
of
taking
losing.
I'm taking the win for the West Mids. I'm gonna go into the chat and be like, I've got it for us, guys. I've got the one that matters.
Nice. Yeah, build some hype for the episode, huh? Let's just say you were cheating. You know, you're in charge of technology, so you know the kind of buttons to press.
I had cheat codes. But I also somehow had cheat codes, but also gave myself a load of 10s so that no one would suspect anything.
Yeah, tactical. If you won, like, you know, if you had like 0 points, everyone would be confused. But you know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, do you think we've missed on anything? Any big things that we should have covered?
No. I feel like that was good.
Mm-hmm. I like how every time I have
you.
you ask this question, no one ever has a question to ask. I love it.
Well, I mean, I can ask you a question because you mentioned something. No, yeah. But I have a question that I did save up that I can, like, this is also because I used to interview people, so I'm always got the, like, you know, when they finish the interview, they're like, do you have any questions for us? And you've always got to have one in the pocket. I think you mentioned in a previous episode that you really like Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I really like Gravity Falls. So my question to you is, who's your favorite character in Gravity Falls?
Oh.
This is the hard-hitting Quidditch / video game journalism that people have been asking for.
Oh, exactly, man.
Who's your favorite character in Gravity Falls?
I think it's easy. It's Seuss.
You love Seuss. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He is mine is Bill Cipher. I love how evil he is. He's wonderfully chaotic.
It's just crazy, just how, like, this show is meant to be, you know, it's children's show, and just sometimes you're freaked out.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
There's some really messed up parts in that show, and it's on Disney. But
yeah. It's mainly one of the biggest reasons why we actually got the subscription to Disney Plus, is just to watch that show.
It's so good. Highly recommend.
Yeah. If you guys are watching,
there's the other sponsor for this video.
Yeah.
So
what, Disney Plus?
Get that Disney Plus money.
Yeah. Go watch Mulan right now. It's only $100 billion per minute, so enjoy that. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for embarrassing me again on my channel. I really appreciated that.
It was a lot of fun. I had great.
It was
good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this turns out in terms of the audio stuff. Well, with your expertise and my new setup, kind of cool.
Well, yeah, we'll see how everything comes out. All right.
All right. It's nice talking to you, right, bud?
Night.
Good night, man. So that was the end of that. It was a fun talk and not the best time of games. I've continued the tradition of losing games on my channel. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for games that I can actually win, please leave them in the comments below, or do message me or write on my page on Facebook. I'll be leaving links everywhere. And yeah, sorry this one's gonna be a longer episode. I know for podcasts I do make them an hour something long, but for YouTube I do make them slightly shorter, so I hope you do enjoy that. As always, don't be afraid to, pause it, come back to it whenever. And hey, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and that sort of stuff. And next episode will be at some point in the future, because I'm not sure. I'm having a surgery on the 23rd of September, and this means I may be out for a while. It's gonna be my ACL fixed, so who knows. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for Declan for coming to talk to me, and hope you guys have a better appreciation of what a technical officer does, for the QUK. And I hope you check out the website. It looks kind of cool. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.